Hello, welcome to the WorldFire 2023. I'm your host, Zhejiang. Now joining me today is Scott and Meyer. Can you talk a little bit about where we're at today?
Well, we're on the fringe of campus here, and where we built the Anagama about 22 years ago. So we've been firing this probably almost about 30 times since then. And, you know, you kind of want these things on the edge of campus, so because it produces a lot of smoke. And, so we're fortunate to be able to do this on campus, actually.
Can you tell me a little bit about what WorldFire is?
Yeah, WorldFire is the crazy idea I had. I think it was born half out of what we all suffered with COVID, where, you know, communication was difficult. Most of us were teaching via Zoom or Skype or some such thing. And I'm a dinosaur. I mean, I'm an old person that predates all computer access of any kind. And so it was half because, you know, I experienced the ability to communicate with places all over the place, and so that was enlightening to me. And then it's half because people that do firings like this, it's like owning a boat. If you own a boat, you don't visit a lot of other people that own boats because it's too busy just dealing with your own boat. And so the people that don't have kilns, that fire with multiple people all over the place, they become like little pollinating bees. And they come in here with ideas. Hey, we did this on some other kiln somewhere, and we're doing that here. You know, what if we tried this? What if we tried that? So I thought, well, now with the connectivity the way we have it, you know, the way I'm accustomed to it now after 2 years of doing that, I thought, well, what if we tied everybody together? That way, remote places on Earth could all influence each other. And so that's kind of how it all grew in my mind.
So we're we're going to everybody together. There's people looking across the world. Now, has anything like this been done before?
I don't think so. I'm going to say that, and then somewhere in the world, somebody's going to scream. But I think that, you know, folks videotape and they do documentaries of different firings and so forth. But this is going to be real time. This is going to be live, where we're all at temperature, hopefully at the same time. And if somebody's going to try something in one of the other kilns, and we kind of look at each other and say, hey, let's see what that looks like here. I think the unique thing is that it's all taking place in real time. And because we all fire around the clock, you know, places in remote areas, remote to us, like mainland China, they're 13 hours ahead of us. That won't really be that much of a factor because we're all going to be here constantly. So all of those things are going on, hopefully. And I think it is pretty rare. If it works, if it's beyond a theatrical event, if we actually are able to learn from each other and influence each other, I hope it's a pilot for a lot of other things. I keep saying to you guys, you're the folks that are unique to this process. We've been firing and we'll keep firing, but you're hooking us up with the rest of the world. So, and that's no small feat, I realize.
So we're loading the kiln today, we're lighting the kiln next week. Now, how long does it take the kiln to reach that temperature does it need to reach?
Yeah, hopefully. We're standing in front of the firebox here, which is at the bottom. And these kilns, this is an Anagama. Of course, we're participating with other styles of kilns, different places in the world. But this is an Anagama, which literally, means a cave kiln. And it's a single chamber. It's widest at its fuel source, and then it climbs up the hill behind us. And so we all know hot air rises. It lets it rise, but through a progressively narrower channel. And actually, it's a 1,000-year-old design ramjet, really. It's what a ramjet design is and what it does. And so it accelerates all the air currents, and it pulls new air behind burning fuel, and it continues like that. So hopefully, at about our 2.5-day mark, we should be at temperature. It gets its temperature, not surprisingly, at the fuel source first. And we have work just inside of that firebox. And then we also have work, some 23, 24 feet from here. And sometimes the back comes up next, and then the heat converges on the middle. So, we're watching very carefully to see when we're at temperature, and then of course it's about holding it there, and that's when all the fun stuff happens. So.
Can you tell me more about the other side you're going to join us in this journey?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I'm going to learn a lot more about them. Of course, we have Clemson University, and I'm delighted that they could participate. And then we have 3 sites in mainland China, which I'm just honored, thrilled that they're able to join us. But Jingdezhen is, I've not had the pleasure of being in any of these places, but they're legendary, very old villages. And most places in the world, because ceramics involves heavy things, heavy resources, clay deposits and so forth, the villages came up around these deposits. And so they each have a different character. And Jingdezhen is a porcelain village. And so they're joining us. And we have a professor that I had the pleasure of meeting once at a conference, Bai Ming, and his village, they're doing a train kiln, which is a little bit like the style of the second kiln that we built out here. And, so these sorts of characters to the, we have the third one, Yixing, and Yixing is known to me anyway as making these little beautifully defined teapots, little diminutive teapots. And I was surprised to learn that they have a dragon kiln, which is 150 feet long. Wow. Ours is a little shy of 40 feet long. So when we've been talking, and like I say, I'm still learning what they do. I've not fired one of those. It's a little bit the same, but of course, much, much more space. So we have 3 side stoke corridors up the side where we start stoking as well. They have 62. So if that gives you any idea of, how different it will be, a whole different pattern, a whole different outcome. And then, of course, the clay, the character of the clay defines it as well. So all of these things are different by design, and they're also different because of the materials that they're using. So I know what ceramic artists know about these places, but they're legendary villages that are very many hundreds of years old. So it's an honor for us to join them, really.
Okay. Now, we are joined by Clemson University right now via Skype. Now, let's see if we can get a hold of them, if we can hear them. Give us 1 second, guys. John, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, perfect. Hi, John, and thank you for joining us today.
I'm good.
So, John.
All right, here we go.
Sorry, can you tell me a little bit about, working on this project here with Montevallo and with the other kilns around the world?
I'm having a hard time understanding.
Can you tell me about this project that that you're helping with?
Yeah, we are having a Foxtrot kiln right here. And this will be our first time doing anything on the Skype online. Like Scott said, it's an honor to participating in something like this. 3 legendary. We hope to as well. We still have our own Anagama to work. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does. Perfect. So how did you guys get in touch about going through this project together?
So Peter Gallery Limited sent me information that Scott has that. It's sort of a call for participation. And then the idea was many would film participate, and I wanted to film that. I love WorldFire. Firing a lot in the western North Carolina area, Mississippi. Lots of different kilns, but within wood kilns. And I want to participate in something that I could share and communicate with other people who are so interested and educate.
Thank you so much. Now we may now also be joined by Jingdezhen. Let's see if they can hear us as well. Hello, hey, can you hear me? Nope. Okay, we lost a little bit of technical difficulties there. Let's go back to Clemson. John, sorry about that. Thank you so much. So, I guess so. You're loading the kiln today as well. I'm assuming.
We are not actually.
Okay.
We will start Sunday.
Okay.
Load 35 on Monday, and if need be, Tuesday morning. Or we can start in the Montevallo start there. But considering we are kiln is nowhere near as big as we also take fire zone. So we start going to fire for Friday 10 o'clock when we're going to come down. But it also doesn't take as long as load the kiln as loading it off.
All right, thank you, John. This is going to be an amazing experience. Now let's take a look at this video we have at the Dragon Kiln in China.
大家好，我是宜兴市丁蜀镇人民政府镇长武胜球，这是我们中国宜兴的结束龙窑。我们很高兴能参加这次全球性窑炉烧制活动。我们在此祝愿本次活动取得圆满成功。
Okay, guys, well, that was the Dragon Kiln. Now let's take a look at all the stuff that we've got loading in here today. Now, can you tell us kind of what we have going in here today?
Yeah, here, this is a firebox, and if you could visualize this being the door with our very high-tech counterweight system. But we try to pretend that it has a hinge so we don't damage anything in here, and this is where we stoke from. So this is the main firebox, and in here looks a little bit like an arena. Like right now would be on the stage, and would look at the various shelves, and all those shelves would have work. So when we start this, there's only a few air channels in here, and everything else is bricked up. So you're seeing a lot of empty space now, but it won't be when we're firing.
Yeah.
And so that's how we stoke. And we actually start the kiln with a little corridor outside of the kiln itself, because we don't want a thermal shock to work and crack something the first 5 minutes of the firing. But then, of course, up the side, there's a side door.
Yeah. Let's actually take a look. Let's come take a look up this side door. We can see some of the works that we have in this kiln now. Looks like we might have we have some different type of ceramics, some different pots. I don't know if you can see in there. I know it's kind of dark in there, but there is some great work in there right now that they have been loading for the past couple of hours.
Yeah. Well, we could try to turn a light on if you want, but I don't know. It looks kind of mysterious in there now. But,
It does look very mysterious.
But if you could pan to the back, you see where the exit flue is. We still have work in the exit flue. And we discovered that we could load stuff there because one of my colleagues' students got lost, and we were supposed to light the kiln, and we're waiting for them. And they came with like 5 minutes to spare, and the kiln was completely sealed up. But I have a slot in that exit flue, and we put the work in there, and we just discovered this really sweet spot we didn't know we had. So anyway, all of that is loaded already, and then we've got the vast majority of the space is still going to be loaded over the next 3 days. So.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Scott. Now, you can catch more content on the WorldFire on the Montevallo For You social media pages. Just be sure to check them out. And it's going to be April 21st at 6:30. Now is going to be the firing show. And April 29th is going to be our unloading of the kiln. We're going to see all this great work that people have done. Okay, yep. We do have a video on some of the artists. We're going to see if we can get it to play.
Hi, my name is Frida Gonzalez-Ruiz, and I'm a sophomore art major at the University of Montevallo. Anagama Kiln art is really crazy. It's very different from what I'm used to doing. I tend to stick with traditional art, so I enjoy painting and I enjoy drawing, but ceramics, and especially the types of firing such as the Anagama Kiln, are super new for me. They are very organic in the sense that you can make whatever shape or form or figure you want to make, but the form, like the life that it takes on in the kilns and in the firings, it's a totally separate thing. It's a very collaborative medium in the sense of like whatever you're working with is its own entity. It's not just you making it. I'm super excited to see the different ways that the kiln is going to give different pieces of finish. So the Anagama Kiln is this 3-entry giant oven of sorts that is fired at like 3,000 degrees for like 3 days, and you have to be in the kiln whenever it's being fired so you can keep feeding all these things of wood in there, right? And the fun thing is that depending on where you place different areas in the oven, it takes on a different color and a different type of firing. So there are some areas where if you place it in this specific spot, some parts of your works will crystallize, and other times like they'll take on ember, orangey, rosy color on one side, but then it can be like black and white and gray and marbly on another. So I'm really excited to see the pieces that I put in there and how they react to the oven.
Okay, you guys know we're also going to be introducing YC, another one of our artists here. We're just playing the video. Sorry.
I always introduce myself as YC. That's the acronym of my last name. And I'm from Taiwan. And before I participate in the ceramic art working, I majored in commercial design and 3D animation when I was in college. Those things are all linked to the ceramic project I make now. Most of my work, they are inspired by my daily life experience. In my opinion, I think a good pieces of artwork, they should arouse the curiosity of the audience, which means the most people can get a hint from their daily common life, and that they can go into the world I want to tell them, I want to show my concept in. So my work almost, I will try to find some very tiny but interesting things in our daily life and make it as a connection between me and the audience. It should start at the point like 3 years ago. I have a job in an experimental school. That time, I do all kind of art class for the children there. And one of the class is multimedia. And one day we adapt clay as the media for the children to make their art pieces. That was the first time I take serious into the clay and make it into artwork. The reason I'm being here, I brought to be here is there are two main reasons. First of all is because the relationship between my professor in Taiwan and Scott. Yeah, my professor Zhang Qingyuan has been in a long relationship with artist friendship with Scott for many years, and Scott have visited Taiwan many times and also held an exhibition in Taiwan Ceramic Museum. Can I say something more? Yeah. And the reason I'm drawn to be here is also I have seen Scott's works before, and because I have never adapts wood kiln firing as a kind of element in my work. And wood kiln firing is something that Scott's really good at and also bring a very amazing outcoming of the work pieces. So that's a big reason.
All right, thank you for watching this video. So we are joined again with John here in Clemson. Now, John, can you maybe give us a little tour of the kiln around you, if you're able? Oh, sorry. John, can you hear me? Sorry, say that again. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, John, we can't hear you. It's getting hard to understand. Scott, can you tell us maybe a little bit more?
Yeah. First off, hey, John, it's good to see you anyway. Sorry about the audio. I'm really happy you're doing this. We'll have some fun. They just asked about your kiln design, which is a huge catenary style arch, which I've built one in my life. You know, it looks like you've been firing that thing. Yeah, so there you go. And there's all that charred interior.
Yeah.
And the way that you build it, you hang a chain or a string that's heavy, and you suspend the two ends at the same level, and it hangs like a catenary arch. So you hang it next to a piece of wood, you spray the chain, and it makes a record of it. You cut it out, flip it over, and that's a catenary arch. So it's self-supporting. It doesn't need any steel around it to hold it.
I'm not gonna lie, this archway makes me think of The Hobbit.
Yeah, crawling in and out of stuff makes me think of, yeah, I think Lord of the Rings has a sequel.
Yeah.
So it looks like that little mini arch that's plugged into the bottom is probably his firebox. So that's where he's going to feed most of that fuel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you find John to get him in on this?
Well, we put out a kind of a, sort of a all kilns bulletin, and it's not the hugest community. Ceramic artists get to know each other and know our programs and so forth, back and forth. And we have conferences and things. So I'm delighted. I was thrilled to hear from him. And we knew we were limited in terms of the kilns that participate. And I really wanted to do this with Clemson. And, but we knew somebody else said yes first and all this business. Anyway, folks back out for myriad of reasons. And I emailed him immediately and said, "Are you still in, or could you be?" And I was really happy that he could do this. So this is going to be really cool.
John, can you understand me now? Let's see if tech's working. Okay, can you tell me a little bit more, like what your experience has been through this for the WorldFire? Can you tell me what your experience has been like working with Dr. Stewart here for the WorldFire? Okay. I'm sorry, John. Hopefully we can get these technical difficulties fixed next show, but be sure to check it out again next Friday on the Montevallo 4U social media pages, April 21st, 6:30 p.m., and we're going to check out the firing here in the kiln and see how everything's going. Thank you so much for joining us today.